Hello, everybody. What's going on? How are you all doing? Alrighty, I am live in multiple places. I should be live on YouTube, LinkedIn, our private Facebook community, and our Facebook business page. All right. If you can hear me, just put some comments in the chat. Alrighty. So let me go to my page to make sure I am live over there. Okay, cool. Cool. So I wanted to experiment with something new, right? I wanted to experiment with something new. And we're going to see today how this goes. And hopefully, everybody can enjoy this and kind of stick around and have a good time today. If you're not familiar with our UnCloned Insider audio newsletter, we do this audio newsletter pretty much every Monday. I've been trying my best to be consistent with making this audio newsletter every single Monday. And one thing about it is typically it is not reserved for the public. Okay. So I came up with an idea this morning and I was like, I wonder how would it be if we were to do the audio newsletter, but sometimes we make it public just so people can kind of get a feel for it? So, like, kind of think of it like a trial, right? Like, if you're not familiar with us doing this, or if you've never listened to the audio newsletter, this gives you an opportunity to be like, oh, I didn't even know you were doing this thing. Like, this is actually pretty cool. I like this. I learned something. Um, that's the whole point of this, right? It's like, how do I let you all kind of see this thing, because there's so many people who listen to it on a daily basis. Like last month alone, we had like a little bit over 500 downloads. So people listen to this audio newsletter, but it's typically not public. You have to be on our email list to tune in, and you have to be, a part of our email list. That's pretty much what this is about. So if you are interested in joining us on the list, that way you can always be notified when we actually do this audio newsletter. I highly recommend that you go to um, unclonedinsider.com. All right. I want you to go to unclonedinsider.com. Now, how is this going to work? I wanted to do a light introduction, when I came on live. I wanted to make sure that I did that. But if you want to leave comments as I'm producing this audio newsletter, you can. All right. So basically, I'm going to pause and then I'm going to do my formal introduction. And then I'm going to go through the audio newsletter just like I would if I was producing it privately. So you all are kind of getting like a backstage pass to be able to listen to it. So feel free to leave a comment. Let me know that you're here. And if I say something that resonates with you, just tap in, right? Just tap in if I say something that resonates with you. So I haven't been live like this, like on Facebook and LinkedIn and all that in a minute. So we're just going to have a good time today. So thank you all so much for tuning in this morning. All right. So let's get into it. All right. So I'm going to start the audio newsletter and I'm going to start recording it. And I am recording it live in real time. However, if you all have any questions afterwards, I can make a way to answer those questions at the conclusion of the audio newsletter. If I don't see any questions in the chat, then I'm going to end the live. So that's how we'll do it. So if you're like, hey, I have a question about this, or what are your thoughts about that? The perfect time for you to do it is now. So if you have a question around this topic that we're going to be covering, which is how to finish the courses and programs you invest in, then I highly recommend that you tune into this. So give me 1 second. I want to make sure that I share this with our Launch Circle community as well. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share it over there real quick. Also, if you can hear me, let me know in the comments. All right. Because it wouldn't make sense if you can't hear me. All right. All right. So let me share this in a group. Let me get the link and then go to the Launch Circle. Here we go. All right. So check this out. And just a little marketing tip real quick. As you're noticing right now, I'm maximizing this opportunity by producing it live, right? So people who may not know who I am, or maybe this audio newsletter is shared with someone else, or people who may stumble upon my content, they're able to kind of see like, oh, I didn't know this thing exists. So this is a way for us to kind of do like a public trial, if you will. Now, our audio newsletter is free to get on, so it don't cost you anything but your time. And so that's pretty much what that's about. So if you have some content, and if you're like, oh, I don't know if I, have the time to put the content out there, or whatever the case may be, you could totally put your content out there, and especially from an audio format perspective, and have a really good time with that. So hopefully you all get some value from today. And so let's get started. Today's topic is how to finish the courses and programs you invest in. So here we go. Here we go. Welcome to the UnCloned Insider Audio Newsletter. My name is Audria Richmond, and I am your Marketing and Launch Strategist. I work directly with my clients to show them how to build uncloned brands and launch profitable marketing campaigns. We are the brand that you come to when you want to become the obvious choice of your industry. Welcome to the UnCloned Audio Newsletter. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this particular newsletter this week. Today, we're going to be talking about how to finish the courses and programs that you invest in, right? One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this or have this discussion is because I noticed that a lot of people don't finish courses. Now, we can get into some statistics and all of that. And so my hopes is that you walk away from listening to this with a new perspective on how you're going to approach your courses that you have invested in. We all are guilty, including me, at some point in time of investing in courses and not completing it. And statistically, they say between 3 to 10% of people complete online courses. Y'all, that's pretty low. That's really, 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 really low. Now, let's assume that we are removing all the courses that are no good. Let's say you actually invested in a course that's worth talking about, or you invested in a course that's actually good, right? How do you actually go about making the best out of that course investment? And I have to say it like this because I think it's important to really talk about it in this way. You have to be very mindful of why you invested in the course in the first place. Why did you sign up for the course? If the course is about, how to cook a chicken dinner, right? If you're like, okay, if you have no hopes on cooking a chicken dinner, then why the hell did you sign up for it, right? Like, that's the thing you have to ask yourself. The other thing you want to ask yourself is like, is this course in alignment with my vision? That's probably the most important thing, because oftentimes I see a lot of people invest in courses and they have no hopes of actually learning it or wanting to know it. Let me give you a good example of that. So sometimes we invest in courses because we have good intent. All right. What does that mean? I'm going to buy, like, let's say you bought a Facebook ads course, right? You're going to go out and master Facebook ads for whatever reason, right? But if you know for a fact that you have a low risk tolerance when it comes to spending money, if you know that you're not as technical, or if you know that you hate social media, why did you invest in the course? So it's important to understand that the courses that you invest in has to be in alignment with what you say you want, right? So let me give you an example. I recently invested in a course on link. Well, not invested in. Well, I'll tell you about two courses. I bought a course recently for $1,500, and then I signed up for a free course on LinkedIn. And I don't even think it's free because I pay for LinkedIn Premium. So it's safe to say that it was a part of my investment, my monthly investment for LinkedIn. But just so we clear around the topic at hand, right? I signed up for a course on LinkedIn, and the cool thing about this course was that it was a course about procurement, right? And you may be thinking like, okay, well, are you putting out RFPs and this, that, and the third? Yes, I believe as small business owners, we should be making people go through some type of proposal process. We shouldn't just be, especially if it's a service. I'm not necessarily talking about a course, right? But I wanted to learn a procurement process because we're about to ramp up our hiring, and we want to make sure we have a system and a protocol internally as an organization on how to procure services. And I think that, when you think about government contracts or corporate contracts, they go through a procurement process. And I think as small business owners, there's nothing wrong with us actually having a procurement process. All right. But nevertheless, I took this course. And the reason I took this course because it was in alignment with what I said I wanted to do. Is this making sense? Right? I think a lot of the times when we're doing things, we want to make sure that it's in alignment. The second course that I bought recently was a course on time management. Okay. This course was all about how to remove distractions, how to get things done, how to be more productive. And I knew for me personally, I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to be more productive. I need to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my time. We all have 24 hours a day. And so I need to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my time. So I invested in a $1,500 course. I know y'all thinking $1,500 to learn how to manage your time. Look, yes, it takes what it takes, right? If you're part of our community, we talk about this all the time. And the reason that I invested in this course was because I wanted to understand the science, the psychology behind why is it that some things I can get done and some things I can't get done. For me, a lot of the things that I have a hard time getting done is more on the personal side of my life, less than the business side. As you all know, if I'm creating something or making something or getting something done, I can get it done. I don't have no problem pretty much getting business stuff done. But when it comes to me getting on that Peloton bike every single day, or eating healthy every single day, or something that I know is going to improve me as a person, I needed to understand like, hey, why are you not able to get this done? So it's important that the courses and the programs that you invest in is in direct alignment with your goals. And so I want to talk about your learning style, right? Because if you understand your learning style, it becomes very easy for you to understand if you even need the course, right? Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it from a place of love because I need you all to understand this, right? If you know you are a person that needs hand holding, instant or continuous feedback, or a high level of accountability, you have to become super disciplined. Let me say this again. If you invest in a course and you know you need hand holding, you need instant or continuous feedback, or you need a higher level of accountability. Let's say you need one-on-one calls, or if you need someone to check in on you all the time, or whatever the case may be. You have to be able to invest at the level of accountability that you need. And the reason that I'm saying that is because I know that sometimes people join a program and they're like, they didn't check in on me. Well, what did you sign up for? If you signed up for like a $30 program, or hell, a $200 program, or whatever the case may be, what kind of support do you expect in that investment, right? When I invest in programs, I'm always conscious of what type of support comes with this type of thing that I bought. So if I bought something that's, let's say I bought something that's like, let me be honest with you. When I buy stuff that's like $500 or less, I literally am surprised if there's a community or some level of support. I'm just being honest, like, because I understand what I'm investing in. However, if I'm spending $30,000, for an example, on a program or an investment or something like that, I'm expecting some level of accountability. I'm expecting some level of support because I understand that that's at the price point that I invested in. Sometimes you all don't understand the level of support in direct correlation to the investment. So if you made a very inexpensive investment, the more disciplined you have to be, and the more expensive the investment is, the less disciplined you have to be. I hope this makes sense, because I think for me, when I am investing in like, higher level programs or high ticket programs, I understand that like and this another thing too. Sometimes you got to understand the topic. The topic sometimes can be a little bit too complicated, or it may be something that you need a little bit more support with. And I think it's important to understand that, like, okay, this topic is going to be super advanced. Okay. I'm going to need a little bit more hand holding. So for me, when I invested with my certification mentor, I knew for a fact that I was going to need, this putting together a certification program is a big thing. And I knew I was going to need more support. I knew I was going to have more questions. And so that's the level at which I invested. Right. But if I just wanted to know the information and I don't necessarily need accountability and support, then I would have made a lesser investment, or I would have looked for something that was a little bit less expensive. So just keep that in mind, that the level of support you need, are you making the investment at the right level? Okay. Now, the next thing you want to ask yourself is, as you think through this, like, if I purchase a course and a week later I opt out, okay, I just, for some reason, I didn't log back in, I forgot my username and password, I don't even know when the calls are happening, if calls come with your thing. I really want you to be super duper honest with yourself. How important or urgent is this issue for you to fix? Right? If it's not urgent for you to fix, then you're not going to show up like it's urgent. You're going to treat it like it's something that's optional. That's why I said the courses that you invest in has to be in direct alignment with the vision that you have, and it has to be in direct alignment with the things that you're trying to focus on. Because I know oftentimes people, have this they invest in programs and stuff because it's cool, or maybe you did it in a high pressure environment where you felt like, oh, I got to do it right now. But at the end of the day, after you make the investment, it's on you. It's on you to find your username and password. It's on you to log in and go through the course and the program. It's on you to write down your questions and ask your questions, right? I think oftentimes when we're investing in courses, you have to, again, how urgent is the problem? If you bought a course and the problem you're facing is like a 2 or 3, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to take it seriously. But let's say that you invested in a course and the problem is a 10. Why you're not showing up like a 10 to get it fixed? And I'm saying this from a sincere place, because that $1,500 program that I was just telling you about that I invested in, I set my tail down and I spent about 3 days going through this program. It was about a 3-hour program. Okay. It's a 3-hour program, 5-module program. It took me about 3 days to get through it. Not because, how can you say this? Not because it took 3 days, but because I allowed myself to process what I was learning over the course of 3 days. So I really want you all to understand that. The next thing I would like to say is, if you're a person that's bored easily, like, oh, this course is boring me, I can't, the way the speaker talk is so monotone, or I don't really like the way this educator teach, or whatever the case may be. Let me be crystal clear. Who cares what they sound like? I talk to some people sometimes and I'd be like, hey, have you listened to, this particular book? Girl, I tried, but I didn't like the narrator. Or, oh, I tried, but they boring. Let me be crystal clear around this. Is your problem more urgent than the boredness? Right? If you're literally learning, let's say you're going through a program that could drastically change your life, and you disengage because you don't like the person's voice, get out of here. How many times have we went to school and had a boring teacher? You know what I mean? I think that because as adults, we can opt out a little bit quicker because we have control over our own life, and we're not forced to sit in a room and listen to a teacher. But that's pretty much how you got to think about it. Like, okay, I got a boring teacher. Cool. I just need to 2x this thing. How can I get through this program as quickly as possible just so I can get over it? You cannot allow your annoyance to block your blessings. Because if you're more annoyed than you are wanting to win, then that's something that you have to check yourself on. All right. So here are some questions I want you to ask yourself before buying the course. Right. So number 1, do you really, really, really need this course based on your plan? Like, do I need this course? Do I have to have this course? Is this something that I have to do? Right. If it is, get the course. The second question you want to ask yourself is, are you buying it because it's on sale? Now, we all guilty of, like, people saying the price is going to go up, or it's going to be more expensive on next Friday, or whatever the case may be. yes, we all buy courses because sometimes we got a good deal or if it's on sale or whatever the case may be. But let me say this, I'm a person that if there's a course on sale and I know I need it and I know that, okay, I may not be jumping into it right now, then be honest with yourself. But don't, that doesn't mean buy the course because it's on sale and then throw it back in your toolbox and never log in. Again, even though you may not need immediate access to that course right now, you still want to be able to like put it in your plan for for the future, right? The next question you want to ask yourself before you invest in a course is, are you buying a course for a team member or a future team member? This is a great way to indicate whether or not you want to invest in a course. So going back to what I was saying earlier about the whole Facebook ad thing. Let's say for a fact you need to create a Facebook ad. You want to learn, you want to take a course on how to learn how to do Facebook ads. One of the things that you could say is, you know what? This is very hard for me, but when I hire my marketing manager, I'm gonna make sure they go through it. This is very hard for me, but when I hire this person, my social media person or my marketing person or whoever, I'm gonna make sure they go through this. Sometimes you can invest in a course and then say, you know what, I'm gonna hire a team member and I'm gonna have them go through it. That way we can get the result that we need as a company. All right. So let me give you an example. We have a role in our company called the Opportunity Hour. And if you've ever taken the Opportunity Hour, marketing system, we talk about having someone on your team who could pitch you for opportunities 1 hour a day, right? We call it Opportunity Hour. There's 5 categories that your person can pitch you in. But nevertheless, we have this really good public relations course, right? It's a very intense course. And it talks about like how to get, how to get on podcasts, how to get into the news, so on and so forth, right? I already took the course. I already know the course is fire. I don't have the time to implement what need to be done for me to be in the press like that. So when I hire my opportunity hour manager, that person is going to be responsible for going through the course and implementing what I learned. Does that make sense? So hopefully, when you're thinking about your courses, don't just think about, do I have to take it? Again, I tell this to my clients all the time. I'm going to treat you like a CEO. And so if you're the CEO of your company, you got to know, okay, this is something that I don't really need to consume myself with. If you're a solopreneur, you're still a CEO. So if you know that you're going to invest in a course because you're going to be hiring for that role in the future, that's something to think about. Another thing is we're going to be hiring a manager for our company. And so this person is going to be overseeing people. Guess what? We bought a course on how to be a manager. We got books that we're going to have our person read, so on and so forth. So you got to keep in mind, sometimes the course may not be for you. It may be for a team member. And so those are the questions that you want to ask yourself before investing in a course. But I also want to leave you with 4 tips to get through the course. So you're like, okay, I understand the importance of the course. I understand why I need to really finish it. I understand why I need to do this. This is what I want from you. Okay. We're going to go over these 4 tips to get so you can get through the course. Number 1, schedule it and put it on your calendar. So if you have a to-do list, a daily agenda, a calendar, or whatever the case may be, make sure you go ahead and put it on your calendar. If you don't put it on your calendar, it's not real. And if you are a person that does not have a calendar and you haven't become disciplined yet with the calendar, then I highly recommend you at least get a to-do list, right? So I pretty much live by my calendar. And so if something is important to me, it goes on the calendar. I don't care what it is. If it's super, super, super duper important, it goes on the calendar. That becomes my guiding light. But if you are a person who have not put any discipline to your calendar yet, at the very least, use a to-do list. The next thing, and this kind of goes back to the earlier points, you want to consume all the content of the course to ensure that you have a clear understanding. If you don't understand it after consuming it, then please consume it again. So oftentimes people will take a course and they're saying, I didn't get it. Go through it again. Did you know that you're supposed to watch something 7 to 21 times to get it? But if a course creator told you that, like, hey, the only way you're gonna be able to get through this course, you need to go through it 7 to 22 times, you'd be like, whoa, I'm good. I'm not gonna take this. But you got to ask yourself, how important is it for you to know this information? If I had to kind of nail down the thing that keeps people stuck or nail down the thing that keeps people from progressing. It's the lack of knowing. It's the lack of knowing. If you've been a part of any of my programs and you hop on a Q&A call and you say, "Hey, Audria, I'm dealing with XYZ," everybody that's one of my clients, they already know. I'm gonna say, "I already covered that in course XYZ. Go watch it. After you watch it and have a clear understanding of it, come back." This is the reason for this. You cannot ask compelling questions if you have not consumed the information. I see so many people show up to Q&A calls, wasting their time asking questions about things that has already been covered. And they don't know it's been covered because they have not consumed the course. And so not only do you waste your time, but you waste the time of the person that's facilitating the call, and you also waste the time of the people who already went through the course. It's important that you go through the course and consume all of it. The next thing, write down all the questions that come up while learning the course, and bring them to the Q&A call if you have Q&A, right? Now, if you're in a program and it doesn't have Q&A, then go to Google, or maybe even give you another little hack. Submit these questions to their support desk. "Hey, I just took this course and I noticed that support doesn't come with this. I gathered some questions from the course. Can you answer these questions for me?" Right? So and if they still refuse to answer your questions for whatever reason, then go to Google, right? So don't make an excuse to not get it done. And then the last thing that I will say, there's two more things, okay? Is really 5 tips instead of 4, okay? The next thing you want to do is, if your course has a community, this is where I see a lot of people get stuck. If the course that you invested in or the program that you are part of have a community, do not get concerned with the size of the community or how engaged it is or not. I think a lot of the times people say, "Well, ain't nobody really talking in this group, so I'm not going to ask a question," or the course or the group too big, I don't want to ask my question. Whatever the case may be, whether it's too big or too small, make sure you use think about yourself. Okay. Like, it's nothing wrong with being in a community and being the person that always got a question. I have a few members who are inside of our UnCloned Launch Circle, and they have no problem with taking up space. They have no problem with asking questions. Get in the habit of asking questions. Get in the habit of get over yourself when you think that, like, "Oh, my question may be stupid," or whatever the case may be. Use the community for your own personal gain so you can get to where you need to be, right? And if you're not getting engagement from the people that's in the community, who cares? The only people you should be concerned about responding back to you are the coaches of that program, the creators of that program, or the admin of that program. Do not get consumed with, "Oh, this group is too big," or "This group is too small," or "I made a post and nobody commented," and whatever. Get over yourself. Make it about you. Make it about your personal gain so you can get what you need. And then the last thing I would say is minimize or eliminate distractions. One of the best things that I have adapted over the past few years is turning on do not disturb. You're not going to call me. You're not going to disrupt me. You're not going to do any of the stuff that I don't necessarily want you to do. Okay. So keep that in mind. The next thing I would say is that we recently downloaded a tool that allows you to block apps so you won't get on it. So this tool is intense because it allows you to block out all of your it allows you to block like all your social media stuff. And let me tell you something that I learned about myself when I was looking at this app. I thought that I was spending a lot of time on social media. Come to find out, like, I'm not even spending that much time on social media. Like, yes, I'm on social media for business sake, like answering client questions and things like that. Maybe Kiki from time to time, but I'm really check my email more than anything. I don't know why I'm so impulsive when it comes to my email. So the other thing about these apps is that you will learn your habits. And so my husband and I downloaded this app, and it allows us to block out everything. We block out email, we block out social media. I block out Slack, even though that's a communication for my clients. The reason being is, I have working hours. I'm not a 24/7 all you can eat buffet support channel. You know what I mean? So I have to make sure that I'm available when I'm available and I'm off when I'm off. And until I develop the discipline, I'm going to use tools that's going to allow me to do that. So I really do hope that you enjoyed today's audio newsletter. We talked about how to finish courses and programs that you invest in. We went over the importance of understanding what type of courses you need. We talked about investing at the level at which you need support. We went over questions that you should ask yourself before investing in a course. We went over 5 tips to help you get through courses. I really do hope that you enjoyed this audio newsletter. Please let me know your biggest takeaway inside of the UnCloned Marketing free Facebook group. If you're not a member, you can visit the description of wherever you may be listening to this audio. And until next time, y'all, let's go live an uncloned life and build an uncloned brand. All right, y'all. So that is the conclusion of that audio newsletter. Do you all have any questions? Did you enjoy it? Also, how do you feel about me going live from time to time to record these live? Right? Yay! This was fun. I really do hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know in the chat wherever you may be listening in right now, because we are live before I end. But let me know your biggest takeaway. Let me know your biggest takeaway. Let's see. Great reminders and tips. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, if you all have any questions, let me know. Let's see. Love this. Cool. 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 I see we have some people on Facebook. We have some people in the Facebook group. We have a few people from LinkedIn. That's what's up. Let's see. Thank you for this information. It's very creative, the audio newsletter. Thank you. Love it. Setting boundaries about the social media apps. Yeah, because before you know it, man, you could be on social media to the end of time. You know what I mean? Like, social media is like the 24/7 club that that you ain't got to never leave. So, yeah, I understand how it can get pretty intense. All right. So, if you're just now tuning in, my name is Audria Richmond. I'm a marketing and launch strategist. We do this audio newsletter that we send out every single Monday to our community. If you like this newsletter, you definitely want to love our back catalog as well as our future upcoming audio newsletters. The way you get on the list is you can head over to unclonedinsider.com, and that'll give you an opportunity to make sure you never miss out on the next audio newsletter. So until next time, y'all. Let's go live an uncloned life and build an uncloned brand. Bye, y'all.